Welcome back to the Mistfall playthrough. As we enter the first round of the game, you'll see I've organised things a little bit differently here. I just want to try and get everything in the play area a little cleanly. I'm not terribly happy with these yellow cubes, so I'm going to change them up for... I'm already pimping the game, but I'm going to change them up for these little glass tokens instead. The same on our player boards. It's just easier to see what's happening on each of the tracks. Also for vendor here, one of the basic cards has a cost in the top right, but it's not a basic feat at all, it's an advanced feat. So this one should go in her advanced feat deck. And we'll just check, there's a few of these, so we've got to get those out. So a bit of a typo. There are a couple of little typos, but it's hot off the press. The second printing, hopefully they'll sort these things out. Okay, I think we're ready to go, and our player aid is going to help us through the process. So we start, these are the different phases. Reinforcement phase, when, if there's an encounter in play from previous turn, reinforcements may arrive. So we'll skip that here. And now we'll have the travel phase. This is where we can move to the next location. Remember, we started the game with one resolve as well, so we could, with this one resolve, during the travel phase, you can discard up to 4 resolve tokens. These are kind of like your rewards for defeating enemies and so on. And they allow you to buy these advancements. So this is kind of like a deck building element in the game. But they also allow you to scout ahead. Now in this starting quest, there's no need to scout ahead. There's only one direction to go, and that's straight ahead. I mean, okay, it may give you an idea about what's coming, but we're about to find out anyway. So we're going to move into a new location. So the first thing we do is flip it up. And it is the plane of ice. And when you travel to a new location and flip it up for the first time, it gets a wound marker, and this signifies that it's a perilous location. That means there's a chance we're going to encounter some bad guys here, and we draw an encounter card, and this will be our new encounter card. There's only ever one of these in play at a time, okay? This one, although it's face up, is not active, okay? It's just to, we know that's coming, that's our objective. So what do we get? We get a lesser war chief, and we've got some special setup rules and some iconography here. We'll ignore this one for now. This is the reinforcements if this encounter persists, if we don't get rid of it on this round. And then we've got these icons here, and this tells you what enemies are going to come up. It's green. Remember, we've only got the green enemy deck. It's Beastmen, so we're going to only see Beastmen, and it's going to be the number of players plus 2. This helm here stands for the number of players. So it's regular enemies, the number of players plus 2. And this goes over here on the quest charter to show that it's our active location. So we grab our enemy deck. We're looking for 4 Beastmen. So this is a wolf. See these keywords: beast, frost, rending. This one's a beast hound. Here we go. This is a beastman. The Goron blood tracker. So he's coming in. And as they come into play, we place them here in the quest area next to the quest track. Okay? These will just get discarded as we find them. Right, there's another one. Goron Ragecaller. He's a beastman. I'm going to put them this way around. Just gives more space. Fellstalker, no. Goron Slinger, yes. And lastly, Ice Reaver. Goron Warrior. Okay, there's our 4. You'll notice there's some setup instructions on these. It says place a progress token equal to the number of players plus 2 on the last enemy drawn. So that's going to be our lesser war chief. That's going to boost his health by 4. This special rule says he gets 1 health for each progress token. And then we end the encounter, we succeed at the enemy encounter when there's 2+1 progression counters or no enemies in play on this card. Let's take our full progression, place this on this enemy. So there's obviously going to be a couple of different ways that we can defeat this encounter. We need 3 progression tokens on there. If any progression tokens get added to these enemies, they boost their health. When we defeat the enemy, the progression tokens go on here. So you can see if we beat the war chief, our Goron warrior here, yeah, he's pretty tough actually, then we'll get 4 on here, job done. There's other ways to get progression tokens on the encounter. For example, Crow the Seeker here has an ability that says if he's got no more than 2 on his enemy focus track, then this is his Shadowy Ways. As a range 2 regular action, you may place 1 progression on the active encounter. Alright, we'll talk about range in a moment. So these enemies, they're in the quest area. Next thing is they're going to start to engage us. And they're going to come into our hero area. So I've reserved some space. There's an area here in front of Venda that's going to be her hero area for enemies, and that space in front of Crow here for his engaged enemies. Now the first enemy is going to engage the hero with the highest enemy focus, which at the moment is Venda with 4, Crow with 3. A quick check on our player aid tells us this is the pursuit phase. So it says enemies enter, the H in the diamond here stands for the hero area, from left to right, and continue, end when there's no more enemy focus or no more enemies. So the first enemy is going to engage with Venda. When an enemy engages, it says divide by half, which would actually double it. Right? So for all the pedants or mathematicians like me, what it should say is divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 takes the enemy focus down to 2 for Venda. So now the next enemy with Venda at 2 and Crow at 3 is going to go and engage Crow. So we halve his focus, so 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, and you round down, you always round down, so that's good. It's always something in favour of the heroes for once. So his enemy focus goes to 1. We keep going because they're both above 0. Venda next, she's on 2, Crow's on 1, so the Goron Slinger is going to engage Venda. Her focus goes from 2 to 1. Now we've got an option here, because we both have focus 1. Now it's the hero's choice. Who is the Goron warrior, our war chief, going to engage? Either Venda or Crow. Venda's got 2, Crow's got 1. Well, actually, I'm going to give it to Venda because she stands a chance of hitting this guy pretty hard. We do need a bit more space here because this spot here is for our burial pile. One thing I haven't mentioned is that your health, the hero's health, is tracked by the number of cards you have. Okay? So it's one of those, and if you have no more cards in your hand, discard pile or deck, then you're eliminated. Alright, so you've got a good stack of health, and obviously upgrading is going to improve your health. And it's a good point to talk about range actually. All the enemies in front of you in the hero area are at range 1. Okay, so you look at the hand axe, for example. He's got an action on here that says he can swing, or she can swing her axe and deal 2 damage at range 1. So we can hit those heroes straight in front of us. And unfortunately, we've got a couple of skirmishers here, the slinger and the tracker. And what they say is they require an extra 1 range to target. So these guys are sitting at 2 range. You can see they're kind of ranged enemies. They're standing back a bit from the Goron warrior. But it says we ignore this ability if all enemies in the same area or range. They're not because of this guy. So if I had given this guy to Crow, we could have run straight up to these. They have no one to hide behind and they would be at range 1. I'm going to keep things there though. They're out of range of my axe. We're going to focus on taking down the leader first. We now move into the hero phase, which for the sake of ease of you guys watching, this is my hand, okay? Each player's hand here, draw deck, discard pile, burial pile, gears and feats, hero area is anything north and south of this card. Now we can decide who we want to have go first, Crow or Vendor. And I'm keen to see Vendor do her thing. So, on our player aid, it tells us we've gone through the pursuit phase, we've gone into the hero phase. We can flip this for a summary. So in the hero phase, we get to play no more than one regular action. All of this is optional. You could do nothing on your hero turn if you wished. Any number of fast actions and any number of reflexes. Now the only difference between fast actions and reflexes, actually let me just show you with the aid of one of our cards. I'm not sure if I've got any reflexes. Do I have them in here? Yeah, I've got a reflex here called Taunt. Taunt is a reflex. You can only use that once. Okay, once per effect. Now, fast actions, like the hand axe, they can be used as many times as you wish. Right? I can take as many as I wish. I could do Taunt once and then Taunt again with this card. But every time you play a card from your hand, it gets discarded. Alright, so I'm only going to play it once. The hand axe here, I could use this fast action as many times as I wished, except it does say here, when you take the fast action, place it on top of your deck. Right? But if I could get that card back out of my deck, into my hero area on the same turn, then I could use it again. No limit. So let's have a go at this guy then. Let's take some actions. First thing I'm going to do is called a Furious Strike. Play this card from your hand. So this action is a regular action. Remember, I can only take one of these per turn. It range 1. All warriors at range 1, so I'm good. So play from my hand at range 1, my regular action. And it says resolve any one action of an axe card in your hero area. If that action deals any damage, add 2 damage. And then move the enemy focus 1 to the right. I'll place this in my discard pile. I'm going to place these sideways. It's easy to remember. Any one action of one of your axe cards. So here's an axe card. It's in my hero area. Okay, not in my hand. It's not in the quest area. And I'm going to choose this action down the bottom. Okay, any one action, it said. From my hero area, 1 range, deal 2 damage, increase my focus by 2. I may discard up to 3 combat cards to deal an additional damage, and then 1 extra on my focus for each card so discarded, and then discard this card. Incidentally, Vendor's focus should be at 0 after taking the warrior. 1 divided by 2 is half, rounded down to 0. Okay, so the hand axe is going in. So it deals 2 damage, plus 2 from Furious Strike is 4. That causes our enemy focus to go up by 1 for this, 2 for this, 3. So the focus is now at 3. And I can discard combat cards to do any more damage. I'm going to discard all 3. So that's 7 damage. However, Goron the warrior here is a tricky fella because he has a couple of shields. We can do physical, regular, melee damage or magical damage. Okay, and he has a shield 2 against physical damage and 1 against magical. We've just done that regular physical damage. We did 7 of it, but we're going to have to reduce it by 2, so that's only 5. Only 5 on Goron Warrior, but that was a massive hit. Unfortunately, it's not enough to kill him, because remember he gets a +4 health boost from those progress tokens. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 2 health remaining. But do you know what? I've just realised I only had 4 cards in my hand when I got rid of that basic that was actually an advanced. I should have drawn another card. I can't... Yeah, so this is another combat card, but I can't add it because it was only up to 3. Right? Yeah, up to 3 combat cards. Now, I've taken my regular action. I can't take any more, but I could do a fast action. I do have a reflex here. I need to try and find a way to do 2 more damage. I was hoping I was going to take him out in one go, but no, I need 2 more. This one allows me to draw a card. I don't want to do that. I do have this fast action though. That allows me to do 2 damage, but his shield's going to block 2 of that. I'm going to discard 1 combat card. Right, so I could discard this and get 1 more damage through. I need another damage. Crow could potentially help me. Oh, I need to move this up as well. 1, 2, 3. I discarded an extra 3 cards. That was an extra 3 focus. So Crow could potentially help me. You can attack, and this is where perhaps we can talk again about range. Remember, this guy's at range 1. These guys are at range 2 because they're hiding behind him. There are other enemies. If there was an enemy in the quest area, I could attack him, but he's at range 2. Okay, so he's 1 for being here, 2 for being there. He's 1 enemy area away. Likewise, I could attack this thing here, this Goron Rage Caller, for an extra 1 range. Okay, so enemies here at 1 range, engaged with other members of my party, they're just an additional 1 range away. Okay, so they're not quite in hand-to-hand with me, they're hand-to-hand with him, but I can still hit them with one of my attacks at range 2. And I know that Crow has a dagger throw that will allow him to toss a dagger and kind of finish off the war chief over here. But I've got another idea. I'm going to spend 1 of my resolve, and you can do this at any time during your turn, in between actions, right? Not during an action. But I'm going to buy this Ruthless Taunt. It costs 1, okay, 1 resolve. And this goes to my hand. I could do a fast action with my hand axe, a fast, swift movement with my axe. It says deal 2 damage, 2 to the right, discard a card to deal an additional 1. Placing the shield cards in our hero area on top of our deck. I don't have any, and then place this card on top of our deck. So let's play this out. Deal 2 damage, that's going to get soaked up by his shield. I can discard a combat card to add 1 to that. That's going to give 1 extra damage here. That does move this up by an additional spot. So it's 2 from here, 1 for additional cards. That takes me from 6 to 9. And then I place this on top of my deck. Okay. Now he's at 6 damage. I need to do 1 more damage to kill him. I don't like that my enemy focus has gone up so high. You'll notice it's crossed this point here with the reinforcement symbol. That means I have to raise the reinforcement track by 1. If this encounter stays in play, if I don't defeat it, if I don't kill him, then we're going to get more enemies coming out. We don't want that to happen. I think Crow's going to do the damage, but before we do, we've got an axe wielder. Once per round, as a fast action, you're going to move 1 axe card from the discard pile to the top of your deck. So, axe at the top of my deck. I know both of my axe cards are there now, which is cool because that means they're both going to come out again for next round. Okay, Crow, over to you, and I want to see if you can finish off that warrior. So I need to generate an extra 1 range with my dagger. So what I'm going to do is use the dagger throw. Okay. This is a reflex action. It plays from my hand, and it's played in response to another action. Add 1 range to any action of a dagger card that you resolve, and then add 1 to my enemy focus. Okay, let's see. The dagger, I think I'm going to use the regular action. Remember, he has a shield of 2, so I need to do 3 damage to finish him off. So from my hero area, 1 range plus 1 from the dagger throw, so now this is range 2. Deal 2 damage, add 1 to my enemy focus, and I can discard up to 2 combat cards to deal 1 additional damage. The problem with dagger throw is I'm going to lose my dagger because I've thrown it over there, and that means I can't take out this guy. I don't know if I've got anything else to help me though. I've got 2 prep cards. I want something. If I can draw another dagger, that would be good. Let's use preparation twice. So preparation allows me to draw 1 card. Backstab. Preparation is not really that great. It takes a space up in your deck, and all it does is draw a card. So, but it counts as health, right? It counts as health. Well, if I defeat the encounter, the enemies are going to run away. I don't need to hit him. I don't need to hit him at all. I can't get 3 damage because I'll need 2 to hit his health and 1 to get past the shells. I can't get 3 without using my regular action here, not throwing the dagger and hitting the big guy. Okay, let's stick to the plan then. So it's dagger throw, which is going to add 1 to our enemy focus. The regular action adds 1 to our enemy focus, does 2 damage, and I want to discard a combat card. This gets discarded because of the dagger throw, and I need a combat card to get rid of. I quite like dagger throw. It gives you versatility, but backstab's going to be good next time to take down a big guy. Alright, dagger throw goes to my discard pile. Could have got rid of Shadow Step. Actually, let's keep that and get rid of Shadow Step. Good news is that there's another wound here which kills this warrior. He'll get discarded, and we get a reward here. We get 1 resolve for killing that enemy. We get 2 for this one. You'd think the encounter would add some more. I think it probably will actually. So this gets discarded. Progress tokens now go on the encounter as per the special rules. So now I think, yeah, we end the hero phase and we move into the defense phase. We activate each enemy in every hero area. It says resolve any conditions. There aren't any, so this is like the poisoned and so on. Remove any conditions from each enemy ally hero. Okay, so defense. Enemies now attack us. Let's do Vendor first. So Vendor has 2 enemies. This one's going to do 3 damage, this one's going to do 2. I don't have anything to defend myself with, so I'm going to take 5 damage. The discards can come from anywhere, so I can take them from my hand, from my discard pile, from my draw deck. But Wrath Call is good. I've got 2 of these, and it has a special that says when this card is buried as a result of combat damage dealt to you, count it as 2 cards. Pretty cool, huh? So that means I can do 2, 4, and then 1 more for 5. That's my 5 wounds, so they're going into my burial pile. And now for Crow, he's got an enemy that's doing 2 damage, but I do think we've got a shield. An acrobatic dodge. It says as a reflex action from my hand at range 1, this guy's at range 1, cancel 2. And then it says that I can, if I wish, discard 1 mobility card to move the attacking enemy from our hero area to the quest area. And potentially that means it's going to go over and attack Vendor. Now I want to keep it here, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to discard this, and that means focus goes up to 5. I then dodged that attack. Haha, good job. This is so cool, isn't it? I love it. I love it. And we haven't even looked at the extra ones yet. Okay, so that's the defense phase. Now the encounter phase. Have we completed the encounter? We have. The end condition was number of players +1. Progress tokens on here, we've got 4, so that ends it. We could retreat from this location and there's a retreat penalty. We don't want to do that. But what it means is we have completed this encounter. This will get discarded. And in doing so, we reveal this reminder text here that tells us what happens in the encounter aftermath. First, we disperse all enemies, discard all the enemies. That's all of them, from here, here, from hero areas, and from the quest area. Alright, so they all get discarded. So that one's going, and this one's going. I'm not discarding this one, and the reason why is because he has an ability called Relentless. While he's in the hero area, he's relentless. Do not discard this enemy when dispersing enemies. He's staying here facing vendor. So now that we've concluded and we've faced the enemies that we're standing here on the plane of ice in this part of the wildlands, we can improve this location. What that means is remove a wound token. It then says to withdraw 2 rewards, and we can divide those among the heroes how we wish. So let's draw. And we get a healing potion and a masterwork toolkit. Well, definitely Vendor's getting the healing potion. She's the one who's wounded. Masterwork toolkit. It's pretty nice. As it goes though, I don't think I want the Masterwork toolkit. A healing potion I'm going to give to Vendor, so that goes to a hand. At this stage, I think more useful to me is this value up here, the 2 resolve. So instead of taking the Masterwork toolkit, I can take the 2 resolve. And this is the only opportunity I've got to trade this in. I couldn't trade it in at a later date. All I need to do is stick this back on the bottom of the reward deck and take the 2 resolve instead. 1, 2, we've got 3 now. Now we get to rest. Each player restores cards equal to their hero's restore value, plus the active location's restore value if there's no enemies in any area and the active location is safe. Restoration values, we've got +1 on Vendor, +1 on Crow. The location is safe. Remember, we removed the perilous wound token from here, and it has a restoration value of +1. Okay, half bar in +4. So you can always move back to the inn to, rest up. Unfortunately, there is still an enemy in play, so we can't rest. Next up, draw cards, and this is where we just draw back up to 5 cards. So Vendor's got 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, takes it to 5. I know 2 of those are going to be the axe cards. Crow draws 3. Backstab. Acrobatic dodge. Give me a dagger. Yes! Brilliant. So we're good for next turn. Next up then, we've done the encounter phase. We've moved into the time phase. And this is where we draw a time card and finish up the round. Let's see what we get. It is a rain of stones. We move time up by 1, and then we have an event. Each player immediately discards 1 card or deals their hero 2 combat damage. Yeah, seems that the bad guys are tossing a load of stones down on our party, not helping us rest. Okay, so time goes up by 1. There's a marker here. I'll come back to that because first we have to resolve the event. Discarding a card. Ruthless Taunt is discarded. And then for Crow, we got 2 backstabs. Let's discard 1. I don't like that because he had a good hand. Now we go back to our time track and we've hit a symbol here. If there's any raging enemies in our hero areas, then we have to immediately enrage them. This isn't a raging enemy. I think we did have one actually. Yeah, it was the one that Crow was facing. The Goron Rage Caller. This symbol, do you see this symbol here? It matches this symbol. Okay, so this is a raging enemy, and what that means is he then becomes raged. You kind of turn him sideways to reflect this, and there's a symbol on here that says if he's enraged, he'll do an attack. Luckily, we saw off the encounter, and so ends the first round. Will our heroes rest up, or will we plough on towards our goal? Find out next time.